Hi guys, and welcome back to Chaos Head NoAH. So, you're probably wondering, why am I recording a incognito Google Chrome window with a YouTube video on it? That's because I have been given a piece of bonus material to watch before I continue on with Chaos Head NoAH. I probably just said that the weirdest way anyone's ever said it. Anyways, I have no idea what this consists of, no idea what its relevance is. All I know is that now is the optimal time to watch it. And I believe it's like some kind of short story or whatever that the people over at Committee of Zero have assembled into a video that plays like the actual game in terms of visuals. So yeah. Here I'll just be recording my reactions and I'll pause whenever I want to say something. So yeah. I guess let's just get into it. Well, oh yeah. Apparently apparently what I've played of Chaos Head so far is like that was the original release. No explanation of who else was behind the new gen murders. No explanation of who Darth Spider, aka Shogun's impersonator, was. No explanation, no further elaboration on, like, the other characters or anything. Just that. And, like, you would probably think back then, like, oh, are we gonna have a sequel or something? Apparently not. They apparently ran out of budget, which, yeah, sounds like some Xenogears crap, except apparently Xenogears at least managed to finish the story it was trying to tell, just in a low budget kind of way. That is actually a game I want to play on this channel someday, but that'll be like a long time from now, because I've got quite the backlog. And not everything I want to play I'll even play on this channel necessarily. You know how it is. Some people just want to play things on their own. Like, Raincode, for example. I'm going to be playing that on my trip to Japan. I'll, probably... Oh, yeah. I'll probably just, have like a month or two until I play Steins Gate, because I'll talk more about that at the end of my playthrough. I'll just go ahead and carry on here. Sorry, I forgot to turn my fan off. Give me a sec. Woo! I don't feel like cutting the video, so I'm just gonna shout while I turn it off to provide minimal entertainment. Whatever I can do to not have to cut this, because I really hate cutting the videos. It makes them so much longer to upload because of YouTube's weird system. Okay, I am back. Okay, let's get started. Chaos Head, Delusion of Zero. Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna have to read everything, aren't I? Before I pass on, allow me to speak of my memories. Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world. Those are the words of Albert Einstein. Okay, this is going really fast. Those are the words of Albert Einstein. When his own delusion, known as E equals MC2, surrounded the world, how had the man felt? Would you really call that a delusion, though? That's kind of just how the world works. It's still recording, right? Yeah. Okay. Ah, yes. The famous gifted physicist was, in fact, a fairly unusual gigalomaniac. I love turning historical figures into part of whatever the plot of something is. I don't know. I just got, like, it's so stupid, but I've kind of got a weak spot for it. Like, whenever it happens, I'm just like, oh yes, absolutely. Although, if I recall correctly, I heard that, like, Transformers, the movies, kind of go wild with it. And, yeah, in that particular case, doesn't quite sound that good, considering you have some Nazi robots. As in literal Nazis, by the way. There's no doubt in my mind that my powers pale in comparison to his. However, I had unknowingly brought something similar into the world myself. That reality cannot be denied. Is this Shogun, then? My own delusion has already spread far across the world. Fun to the power of 10 times int to the power of 40 Sorry. I'm trying to remember what kind of voice I gave him. Fun to the power of 10 times int to the power of 40 equals IR2. I believe I was in the 4th grade when that formula materialized. It was also around that time when my body started experiencing various abnormalities. Since its birth, that delusion slowly began to erode away at my body. In a mere 6 months, I was no longer able to walk. At the time, I wasn't aware of my status as a gigalomaniac. I somehow managed to continue attending classes, but I proved unable to attend the field trip due to my worsening condition. Yeah, so it was his condition keeping him home. That's probably also why he was laying on the floor. Despite my intense anticipation for it, my parents forbade me from going, birthing a fierce resentment in me towards them. My delusions continued to engorge. Delusions synonymous with envy. Such delusions ended up injuring my classmates who had gone on said field trip, as well as killing the supervising teacher. Only then did I come to realize I harbored a terrifying power. Not long after, I was admitted to the hospital. All of the doctors present had given up on diagnosing my condition. That is, except for one. No, he did say he was a doctor. NoAH Genichi. Although I was fairly young, it only took a glance to understand this man's sinister nature. After all, we were alike, both of us far removed from common sense. Naturally, his proposed treatment was denied, but I was fortunate enough to have Dr. Takashina fill in as his replacement. Oh yeah, now I think about it, that's probably why Dr. Takashina didn't recognize Takumi. Was because, little boy, little emaciated boy. I took the time to peer into NoAH's mind, learning about both Project NoAH and Nozomi technology. The very hospital I was admitted to also served as the lair of my enemy.
If nothing was done, my delusion would be utilized by Project NoAH, bestowing fierce repercussions across the world. Conversely, as a result of my treatment, I had reached a sort of stability. My body could no longer survive without this hospital. I was intensely aware of the fact that my enemies were everywhere. I kept them away from me with delusions, but my body continued to grow weaker upon the production of each one, which only further extended my stay at the hospital. If this continued unabated, it was inevitable that I'd be captured by NoAH. Backed into a corner, I was forced to erase my existence. At the time, I hadn't been attending classes, so upon my classmates' graduations, I executed my plan. Patient Nishijo Takumi has been successfully treated and thus discharged from the hospital. All of the hospital staff, along with my parents, were all under this impression. I spread this further to anyone who had any possibility of coming into contact with NoAH. And so, using my delusions, I constructed and isolated myself in a hospital room, separated from the rest of the building. There was an exception, my younger sister Nanami. Only Nanami was able to enter the hospital room with no semblance of difficulty. She didn't even seem to recognize the room as separate from the hospital. Of course, whenever she arrived at the hospital, I crafted a delusion allowing her to remain unseen by anyone present. Nanami, while quite childish, showed nothing but concern for me. She would always put forth her best effort to care for me. When I saw how brave she was, I began to question if I was truly able to steal away her memories. Nanami, however, wasn't the only exception. This was the time I came to know a girl named Sakihata Arimi. The girl had been confined to the hospital's basement for nearly a year. At first, I was unable to hear any of her cries, even as she faced endless, brutal torture at the hands of NoAH. Upon her eventual awakening as a gigolomaniac, only then did I synchronize with her delusion. With that, I entered the world inside her mind. Whether the outcome was beneficial or not, I have yet to determine. Even so, the delusions this girl carried inside her heart were endlessly sorrowful, yet they were also her reality. She had already killed her own heart numerous times. I knew then I had to save her. The girl's suffering was all the result of the formula born from my delusions. My delusionary powers allowed me to travel anywhere. In reality, my body was still incapable of walking, but I was able to create a door that led to any destination. That's the door that we saw when Takumi was having to answer those questions to see the D-sword. Undoubtedly, producing these delusions required extreme strength, forcing me to only use it sparingly. Guess that's how he gets around then. Despite how fiercely it attacks my body, I wouldn't hesitate to give my life if it meant stopping Project NoAH, a project I effectively founded when I had spread my delusion across the world. Upon isolating myself, I began to pour every ounce of strength into halting the progress of Project NoAH. However, my enemies effectively matched my skills. They started placing a plan of defense into motion. With it, the information I was able to obtain via telepathy grew further limited, and the search for me had begun. If I were to slip up, I would be captured in an instant. This manhunt would only serve to increase the danger NoAH was in, as we were family. I had no desire to involve anyone in this fight, hence my self-isolation. In the end, I was naive. 3 years had gone by entirely wasted. During that time, I had conjured numerous delusions, but each one only served to make me weaker. If this continued, there would be no way to stop Project NoAH. For this reason, I decided to give birth to you. To achieve that goal, I severed every connection I had left to society. My final remaining connection to the outside world, to my ordinary life, was NoAH, whose memories I had erased.
Yeah, they kinda implied that.
I knew that my actions had caused my sister a great deal of pain. It was clear she was deeply hurt. Even so, that pain was sure to leave her momentarily. As long as she forgot me, she would be able to return to her normal life. I liberated her from the burden known as myself. I wished only for NoAH to be happy. It was Remy that I had miscalculated. Naturally, I tried to erase her memories along with NoAH's. I wanted her to forget about her awakening as a gigalomaniac, about her sickly torture at the hands of NoAH, and that she had ever met me. I wanted her to live a normal life.
These were the clothes she randomly started wearing when she was with Takumi that one time.
However, Remy was an exceptionally skilled gigalomaniac. No matter how many times I tried to overwrite her memories, my delusions were rejected without fail. It was clear she specialized in locking away her heart while wearing a bright smile on her face. My attempts bearing no fruit, I was forced to give up. Creating a human from nothing proved difficult, even with the power of delusions. Concurrently, I learned that the human soul was equally delicate. In order to create you, I focused completely on the personality that the delusions would form. You were all I thought about for an entire month. In a way, it was quite similar to falling in love, even though I've never been in love. If you were to come to know this, you'd surely feel repulsed.
No feelings for Remy then.
Essentially, you are me. My memories, my abilities, and finally, my name. I entrust them all to you. The moment you are born, I will no longer be the existence known as Nishijo Takumi. From that moment on, I will take on the moniker of Shogun. Why Shogun, you ask? I quite like Togo Shogun. That's all there is to it.
What's that? Togo Shogun. I got no idea.
That being said, once you are born, there's no mistaking that you will be tasked with an extremely painful role.
Wait a second. Nope, not that either.
First and foremost, you must awaken as a gigalomaniac.
Impale.
For this purpose, you will have to endure extreme mental strain. After obtaining your D-Sword, you will begin a long battle against Nozomi technology. The battle to stop Project NoAH. That is my ultimate goal, and by extension, yours. My reason for creating you is incredibly selfish. However, there is no other way. I cannot do this on my own. Please forgive me. At the end of it all, you will be set free. In your freedom, please grant me the selfish request of turning a blind eye to my selfish desires, including forcing these memories onto you, as well as my final request, be a good older brother to Nanami. Please don't diddle her. Please don't. If I had the ability, I would have done this all myself. I would have done it all while dreaming of the peace at the end of it all. It's a pleasure to meet you, Nishijo Takumi. And with that, goodbye, Nishijo Takumi. Welcome to the world. Painful trials await you, as do infinite possibilities. As long as the blue sky exists, that cannot be denied. You are me, and at the same time, you are also you.
A hospital room no one visited was stained orange by the setting sun. Clutching her knees silently in the corner of the room, Sakihata Rimi noticed something strange occurring in Nishijo Takumi's bed. His breathing had quickened, his chest, reduced to mere skin and bone, rapidly flexed up and down. Rimi swallowed down her breath and watched as numerous thorns radiated out from the center of the bed. Seemingly metallic, yet also appearing organic, with a delicateness and beauty that rivals the most breathtaking of sights. Thorns of such a description colored the room. The thorns crept along the floors and covered the walls, overtaking every inch of the closed space. Emerging from the surface of the thorns were shards of translucent glass, similar to the veins found on a leaf, each shard pulsating with a flickering red light. They were reminiscent of an 8-headed serpent, each with their own will. Nishijo Takumi's D-Sword. Rimi had only seen it once before. At the time, it had been compactly wrapped around his weak, frail hand. Nishijo Takumi remained motionless on the bed. In spite of Rimi's attempts to inhibit him, Takumi knew that he had succeeded in creating another self. Rimi recalled from before how he merely offered a faint nod when she asked him if he planned to die. The D-Sword that had been obscuring the walls began to quickly retreat. It didn't take long for the thorns to dry out and crackle as they crumbled to dust. Rimi sluggishly got to her feet and cautiously made her way over to the bed, taking care not to run into any thorns. She lifted her hand and gently caressed Shogun's desiccated cheek. Still,
he continued to breathe. Someday, would he ever regain consciousness? Right now, somewhere in Shibuya, another Nishijo Takumi had been born. Someday, would she be able to meet him? Until then, she would continue waiting here, for she had no relatives, she had nowhere else to go, for she had no home to return to, no one waiting for her. Yumi stared outside the window, the setting sun staining the high-rise buildings of Shibuya a deep orange, a single trickle of tears falling down her face. All of this fell 18 months before Shibuya would fall to ruin. Oops. Naotaka Hayashi. Didn't know that was his full name. Alright, well, good job, guys. Really good job. I was absolutely invested reading that. Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that wasn't included in the game, apparently. I mean, I don't recall exactly what they said it was. Like, I mean, look. Delusion of Zero. Yeah, it doesn't say what it is, but, yeah, really interesting. That, provides a lot more context and also fleshes out Shogun, which, yeah, I really enjoyed that. And it, yeah, really well written. Seriously, good job, guys. Yeah, I'm glad I watched that now. I'll go ahead and get started on recording the next section, but I will see you guys then. This will be episode 23.5. Bye.